Severe weather will make a comeback starting today. We had a little bit of severe weather yesterday and into the next couple days with a little bit of a break in between. We also had the potential for record heat out west with a pattern change in the east, which is already occurring, the colder temps to follow. So with that in mind, let's get started and talk about severe weather and the the heat that's going to plague the Western U.S. next. So to start with, we don't have a lot going on the radar this morning. Some showers down here in southern Florida. Storms moving off the coast here. That's pretty much all for the rainfall in southern Florida for right now. Maybe a few showers lingering here. Go up into the middle part of the country, the Ohio Valley and the eastern seaboard. Just some showers here. Not maybe an interesting little feature moving through towards New England this morning, and this looks like a maybe an MCS or something moving through here in the Ohio Valley, right? Interesting feature on radar this morning. This may, let's take a look here. This could, let's see if we got any severe storms with this. Don't see any severe warnings or anything with this. This is that boundary that we talked about with severe threat last night. Not a lot going on here right now. But what is happening, we have these blowing dust advisories here, lake wind advisories for high winds moving through the area, blowing dust around, reducing visibilities this morning and into today, likely to subside the next 12 hours or so. Out west, we have winter storm watches, winter storm warnings for parts of Colorado into Denver, Denver proper here. My oldest daughter lives out in Aurora, so it'll be interesting to see what the snow totals are going to be out here. I'll try to do a little segment on this about what's expected here if I have time. Freeze watch up here into Wyoming. Wind advisors up to the north. There's some high winds possible today, as far as in 15 hours. Close to 50 miles per hour expected here. And some wind advisories in the California valleys, mountains here, depending where you're at. And some air quality alerts here as well. So overall, from a hazard perspective, not a lot going on. Well, as far as severe weather goes for today, what do we got? Well, we have a large marginal risk all the way down from Oklahoma, parts of Missouri, through Kansas City, up towards Chicago, Ohio Valley, Columbus. Just a large area here, potential severe weather. Driven by no tornado risk. Got a wind risk here. Take these off. All right. Marginal wind risk, 5% chance of 50-knot winds, meaning 60-mile-per-hour winds within 25 miles of a given location. Now, the hail threat, we do have the potential of storms fire here. They'll be isolated, especially in the southern extent along the dry line. Could have 2-inch hail here, roughly from north of Kansas City, Clarinda, Iowa, all the way down to Wichita Falls. So quite a wide area of potential hail as well. So like I said, 2-inch hail possible in the stippled region, although isolated. Anywhere within this region, outside of that, 1-inch hail is possible. Okay. Now going into tomorrow. All right. So we go back to the hail risk for tomorrow because that's the screen I was on. We do have a risk for 2-inch hail. Encompassing most of the slight risk area was a level 2 out of 5. All right. And outside the area, we do have the 15% risk of 1-inch hail. In the brown area, 5%. Okay. Going from parts of central Texas all the way through Dallas, parts of Arkansas, Texarkana, up towards Poplar Bluff, Missouri. A small part of Tennessee, it looks like here as well. With this outline, it's hard to make out the borders here. Sorry about that. All right, so we go up to the northeast. We also have a severe threat here as well with the hail risk. Now we switch back to the categorical, which I should have done to start with. Level 2 out of 5 here. Marginal risk up here in northern New England, New York, Maine, New Hampshire. And I talked about this yesterday, how I thought there might be severe threat on the books here. And it looks like it's playing out, although marginal here. All right. We do have a tornado risk here as well up in New York. Vermont, right? So 2% risk of a relatively weak tornado, probably less than EF2, um, due to lack of thermodynamic profiles. And so surface-based storms are going to be hard to come by here up to the north. And we have a low tornado risk down here in the southern extent of this area as well. Didn't mean to do that. Go back to day 2. There it is. Okay. Wind risk. The wind risk encompasses a 2 out of 5 risk, encompasses most of the slight risk area as we talked about, and the 5% wind risk goes all the way down the southern extent and encompasses the whole area of the categorical risk up in the New England area as well. Remember, the categorical was through that whole area here. Go back to the wind risk. That's the whole area. So biggest threat next couple of days, hail. Tornadoes and winds are not as big of a deal, at least right now. But if you live over an area that gets a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, it definitely could be damaging to stuff if you leave it outside. You might have some flying trampolines if you don't take care of those either. So might want to lash them down if you have time here. So going into the next day, which is day 3, we had today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That threat just further to the south and east here. We have a level 2 out of 5 all the way from Austin, Texas to Birmingham, Alabama, with a level 1 out of 5 all the way back towards San Antonio, up towards Chattanooga, Tennessee, Memphis, Montgomery, down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Lake Charles, Houston, Texas. So quite a wide area here. That's your probabilistic. And you don't have anything outlined for day 3 because they don't have a specifics as of right now. But given the nature of the boundary and a cold front, the biggest threat in the coming days for this severe weather the next 3 days is going to be hail and gusty winds. The tornado threat likely be less because there's lack of short waves, really, any kind of subtle forcing that's going through the flow here. So, but we'll see how this evolves in the coming days, and we'll keep y'all informed with the latest updates. So let's quickly review the GEFS severe probabilities portal here, experimental. And we start off with the trough up to the north, a trough here in the southeast today, trough out west. You see where the severe threat is outlined here with the highest risk of some higher end storms out here between Oklahoma and Kansas. The higher probabilities also in the Four Corners region, looks like here, Lincoln, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Illinois, parts of Illinois here, Springfield. Just a large area here. It doesn't really outline anything up to the north here, but that'll be tomorrow, right? So the threat moves further to the east here as the cold front sags to the south. You see where severe threat is up to the north here as well. So that's pretty much in line in what the severe weather probabilities as far as Storm Prediction Center is talking about, with the high severe potential down here in parts of Texas. And we talked about where that hatched area was, and that lines up pretty well here. Trough remains off the eastern seaboard with a ridge of high pressure down to the south here, which is focusing the flow, right? This way. So when you have this kind of flow, the storms are kind of parallel to the front, right? So that when they run parallel to the front like that, they tend to merge into each other and create more of a line segment. So, but up here, if we could get some surface-based storms, the short wave moving through, if we get a cold core type setup up here, we could get some spin-up tornadoes. We'll just have to see how that plays out. You remember we talked about this trough the past several days, moving through the flow here on the southern portion of this. We go into Wednesday. You see how the severe threat shifts further to the east as this trough and this one start to come together a little bit. Now the core of this kind of shifts back to the south and looks like it may cut off. And you have more of a zonal flow into Thursday. And the potential is there for some severe weather Wednesday into Thursday. We'll just have to see how this plays out and how the atmosphere responds to the previous day's convection. This it looks like this mid-level, upper-level feature is going to cut off eventually here. You have a deep northerly flow coming this way. in the backside of this, maybe potential for some severe weather, but not too bullish on that. And remember, I said we're going to get a little bit of a break here. This trough maybe shifts to the east, and this high pressure shifts to the east as well as the trough does. Ridging out west, this trough tries to hang on up here, and maybe some broad southerly flow with that Baja low shifting to the south and west here. High pressure up out west, but you might get something going on back here if this trough shifts through. You have enough southerly flow here to get some moisture destabilization into Sunday. And as the trough shifts back to the south and east here, you have the main axis moving through again. Could we get some more rainfall and severe weather here? Possibly. But this is a week out, day 8, so that's where we're going to stop this. One thing we know for sure, the ridging out west here is going to bring very hot temperatures. So as far as severe weather, not a lot's going to be going on until the evening hours today. Maybe some rotating storms up here in Iowa, and back towards into Oklahoma here, and some storms, different showers and storms moving through the area. Maybe some potential severe wind gusts here. Then it really wants to get some storms going with some rotating updrafts here. Springfield, Missouri, St. Louis, Jefferson City. Just a lot of unsettled weather here with moisture streaming in from the west to south to north here, southwest and northeast, right? So 7 p.m., boundaries start to sag southward. You see this line of storms here, and on the back side of this, right? Some rainfall up here to the north. Back in the Cleveland area, this is 11 p.m. The NAM really wants to bring this line, pushing it far to the south here with probably some significant wind gusts within this line. All right. Back to the west, we have unsettled weather here. And the north and east, some unsettled weather as well. The north up here, we got a northerly flow. Moving into tomorrow, this is 5 a.m. A lot of messy convection, maybe some MCS type features trying to get going here. Moving to the south and east, it looks like an MCS, doesn't it? With kind of a hookish looking thing here. Appendage, I guess you would say, right? Not a thing isn't really scientific, is it? Appendage isn't either, but either way, it's 7 a.m. Moving to the south and east. A lot of rainfall here, all in this area. So beneficial rainfall, maybe too much up here again because they really had a lot and snow melt and things like that. But that's going to move to the south and east. We get into the afternoon hours. Look at all this just unsettled weather here, but not a lot of focus at this point. Okay, now this is Tuesday. This is where your severe threat is, Tuesday, right? 4 p.m. So let's take that off. 6 p.m. It looks like maybe overnight is where the severe threat is highest. Although with that MCS type feature moving through initially, really depends on if the atmosphere clears out in this area, which this model kind of makes it look like it will, and enough time to get some instability. This is in the overnight hours into Wednesday morning, right? So we go into Wednesday. The shift is further to the south here for severe weather, right? So let's see if we can get that far out here. 6Z NAM. And you see up to the north here, a lot of just rainfall, overrunning rainfall here. So flooding is definitely a concern during this period. And you have this snow back out here to the west that we talked about in a different video, which you can watch. I already posted that video here on my YouTube channel. So we get further out into 9 a.m., 10 a.m. That's as far as this model goes. So let's go. I don't like to use a Rufus, but impasse. Let's see, impasse 12Z. Hate to use this. I don't know what that is, but Let's go back a little bit. In the morning hours, once you bring a lot of convection just in general up to the north here in parts of Tennessee, 12 p.m. And on the back side of this, you get the idea why the severe threat is here. As this trough swings to the east, general convection firing in this area, moving to the south and east. And this is 8 p.m., right, on Wednesday. So maybe some initial convection in the morning. Now that's going to dictate the rest of the day, right? If this clears out, you could potentially get another round of storms here to the west. But we'll have to see how this plays out. The southern extent of this, that's where your biggest hail threat is. So in the northeast, we'll get some rainfall as well, and some rain out to the west, and maybe some rotating storms back to the west as well. We'll have to see how this plays out as we get closer. But that's the forecast for severe weather for the next 3 days. As far as temperatures go, you see where the coldest areas here to start off on Wednesday at 8 p.m. This is the National Blend of Models. Warmest temps are getting pushed out to the southeast in the coming days. Stays relatively cool east of the Rockies, but you see out here to Friday, all out west here, above normal temperatures everywhere, especially in Arizona, New Mexico, Salt Lake City, Denver, Colorado. So snow will melt quite quickly here. Now we get into the weekend, very hot out west here as well. Near normal, then generally, east of Mississippi, right, to maybe slightly above normal, okay, in some places. And this varies because you have your variation diurnal temperature change. San Francisco, maybe 20 degrees above normal, even all the way up into Canada. Look at these temperatures, unbelievably warm here. Into Sunday, Monday, now it's 30 degrees above normal here, at least forecast by the National Blend of Models. Staying relatively mild here to the east, warming up a lot here in northern high plains as well, and even to Oklahoma City, right? Interesting that it's cool off down here, maybe a boundary or some moisture lingering here. Man, finally, maybe towards the end of the period here, we get a break from the heat up to the north here, but still way above normal for a good portion of the continental U.S., central U.S., Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley, most of the nation above normal at this point. So this is May 14th, and we'll keep you advised of the forecast in the coming days, but definitely going to have to watch for this heat out here and in the central U.S. as well, and eventually on the eastern seaboard, I have a feeling, in the coming days.